On a sweltering Sunday in July 1987, London's posh Knightsbridge neighbourhood became the scene of an audacious crime that would go down in British history. A cunning thief, later dubbed the Wolf by the press, pulled off a heist so spectacular it would make headlines for decades to come. The target, the Knightsbridge Safe Deposit Centre, is a vault filled with the prized possessions of the rich and famous. As unsuspecting Londoners went about their weekend, this master criminal slipped in and out of the facility, making off with a treasure trove that would make even the most hardened detective's jaw drop. When the dust settled and the investigators tallied up the loot, they were left speechless. The value of the stolen goods was eye-watering, equivalent to over $130 million in today's money. This wasn't just any robbery, it was the crown jewel of heists, cementing its place as one of the most lucrative bank jobs in the history of the United Kingdom. Let's go back to central London on the afternoon of July 12, 1987. As the clock struck 3 p.m, the unsuspecting bank manager opened the door to the vault to let in two mysterious patrons. The vault they entered was no ordinary storage space. It housed hundreds of safety deposit boxes, each a treasure trove of secrets and riches. These small metal containers held the most valuable possessions of London's upper crust, from dazzling diamonds to irreplaceable heirlooms. The city's wealthy, powerful, and even royal figures had chosen this very room to safeguard their most prized belongings. As the heavy vault door swung shut behind them, the true nature of these clients was revealed. With a swift motion, they pulled out gleaming pistols from their designer briefcases. One of the men, sporting a devilish smirk, broke the tense silence with a thick Italian accent. "This is a robbery, signor, but this vault held more than just glittering gems and antiques. Some boxes concealed darker secrets, illegal drugs, undeclared cash, and evidence of scandals that could topple the powerful if exposed. In a twist of fate, nearly all of it was about to change hands. The mastermind behind this brazen heist was a 32-year-old Italian known in the underworld as the Wolf. Born Valerio Vici, he had traded a life of political extremism for the thrill of high-stakes crime. His past was as colorful as it was dangerous, filled with radical activities and acts of vandalism that hinted at a troubled youth. By the mid-80s, Vici had reinvented himself as a flamboyant gangster, leaving his homeland for the criminal opportunities of London. He cut a striking figure in the city's underworld, known for his extravagant taste in accessories, a golden keychain shaped like a shotgun and a luxury briefcase, a combination that paid homage to his favorite firearm. The Wolf saw himself as a real-life movie star, blending the charisma of Hollywood's most notorious outlaws with the swagger of Al Pacino's Tony Montana. His criminal resume was as impressive as it was alarming. Back in Italy, he had pulled off over 50 armed robberies, funding a lifestyle of excess and luxury. But London offered the chance for something bigger, a heist that would etch his name in the annals of criminal history. Every great thief needs a partner in crime, and the Wolf found his match in the most unlikely of places. Prowling the seedy nightclubs of London, he crossed paths with Parvez Latif, a 30-year-old with a severe cocaine habit and a mountain of debt. Parvez was exactly what the Wolf was looking for: reckless, fun-loving, and desperate for a big score. But Parvez wasn't just any down-on-his-luck party animal. He happened to be the manager of security deposits at Knightsbridge Bank, the very institution the Wolf had been eyeing for weeks. It was a match made in criminal heaven. Their friendship blossomed quickly, fueled by wild nights and grandiose plans. Due to the bank's underperforming safety deposit business, Parvez was facing a pay cut, and the Wolf's charm and promises of wealth easily won him over. The stage was set for a daring heist. Parvez, hounded by creditors and desperate for cash, was ripe for the Wolf's persuasive pitch. On that fateful Sunday afternoon in July, the plan was put into motion. As the clock struck 3 p.m, the Wolf arrived at the bank for what appeared to be an innocent tour. By his side was Eric Rubin, a small-time crook masquerading as a salesman. Their guide? None other than Parvez himself, playing the part of a professional bank employee who'd never laid eyes on the Wolf before. The trio made their way to the vault, maintaining the charade of a routine visit. Once inside, the Wolf requested a private room, and that's when everything changed. In a flash, he pulled out a Beretta while Eric revealed a concealed, sawed-off shotgun. The element of surprise was total. Moving swiftly, they subdued the skeleton crew of guards on duty during the quiet Sunday shift. The clock was now ticking. They had only 90 minutes before the next security team arrived. With practiced efficiency, the Wolf hung a closed sign on the front door and opened the back entrance. A group of men slipped in, in. More small-time criminals handpicked by the Wolf for their desperation and willingness to follow orders. The Wolf made it crystal clear to his recruits: loyalty or death. Inside the vault, the Wolf faced a daunting task. Each of the 4,000 safety deposit boxes had to be opened individually, a time-consuming process with the clock ticking relentlessly. But this was where Parvez's inside information proved invaluable. The team knew exactly which boxes to target, avoiding wasting time on empty ones. The Wolf moved through the vault with eerie familiarity. His preparation had been meticulous. He'd even created a mock-up of the vault in his lavish apartment, using yarn to map out every detail. This attention to detail was paying off as he navigated the space with precision. As the crew stuffed bags with priceless treasures, Parvez played his part to perfection, feigning terror like any innocent bank manager would. The 90-minute window flew by in a blur of activity, but the Wolf's laser focus ensured they grabbed everything on their hit list. Just as it seemed they would make a clean getaway with their multi-million-dollar haul, fate intervened. In his haste, the Wolf made a crucial error. He cut himself, and forgetting himself for a moment, touched one of the metal boxes with his bare, bleeding hand. That single drop of blood would prove to be the Wolf's undoing, leaving behind a damning fingerprint that would ultimately unravel the greatest bank heist in history. The thieves had barely vanished with their loot when Scotland Yard swooped in. Investigators quickly discovered the bloody fingerprint, a crucial piece of evidence that linked this audacious crime to a string of recent armed robberies across London. The Wolf's signature was unmistakable. Exactly 1 month after the heist, on August 12, 1987, the police struck. In a coordinated operation, they rounded up members of the Knightsbridge crew across London. Among those caught in the net were Eric Rubin, the fake salesman, and Parvez Latif, the inside man. But the biggest prize, the Wolf himself, slipped through their fingers. While his accomplices faced justice, the Wolf was living it up in Latin America, reveling in his newfound status as a millionaire criminal celebrity. But even master thieves have their weaknesses. For the Wolf, it wasn't just the thrill of the crime or the company of beautiful women, it was his beloved Ferrari Testarossa, left behind in London. Believing himself untouchable, the Wolf made a fateful decision. He returned to London, intent on shipping his prized sports car to his new home in Latin America. The Wolf's overconfidence proved to be his downfall. Unable to resist the allure of his old stomping grounds, he made a pit stop at the White's Hotel in London for a few drinks and to bask in his notoriety. But his moment of glory was short-lived. As he returned to his beloved Ferrari, he found himself surrounded by police. In a dramatic scene, officers shattered the windshield and forcibly removed the infamous thief, who fought and yelled as he was taken into custody. Behind bars at Parkhurst Prison, the Wolf's reputation only grew. But after 5 years in maximum security, his story took another turn when he was extradited to Italy in late 1992. The Italian prison system offered the Wolf an unexpected degree of freedom. He was allowed to stroll along the Adriatic coast and work in an office during the day, only being required to return to his cell by 10:30 p.m. He even enjoyed the luxury of breakfasting outside the prison walls each morning. Never one to shy away from the spotlight, the Wolf gave numerous interviews about his exploits. He described the Knightsbridge heist as pure magic, the pinnacle of his criminal career. Perhaps most intriguingly, he claimed that about a third of the stolen goods were never reported missing, whether due to embarrassment or a desire to keep certain possessions secret. Some victims chose to remain silent about their losses. Despite the authorities' best efforts, only a small portion of the stolen riches was ever recovered. On a spring day in 2000, the 45-year-old Wolf found himself back in the game. Alongside Antonio Malatesta, a member of the notorious Sacred United Heart gang, he sat in a stolen car on a quiet road. Whether they were planning to hit an armored truck or carry out a kidnapping remains unclear. Their scheme, whatever it was cut short when patrolman Enzo Baldini noticed the suspicious vehicle. As Baldini approached, the Wolf's old instincts kicked in. He drew his revolver and shot the officer in the leg, but as the Wolf moved in to finish the job, Baldini proved quicker. The wounded officer unleashed a barrage of gunfire from his submachine gun. The Wolf, caught in the hail of bullets, spun and fell to the ground. In the chaos that followed, Malatesta tried to flee, but was quickly apprehended. As more police arrived on the scene, they gathered around the fallen gunman. At first, no one recognized the infamous criminal lying before them. The Wolf, mastermind of history's greatest bank heist, had met his end on an anonymous stretch of road. And there you have it, fellow sleuths. The rise and fall of the Wolf, from master thief to his final fateful encounter. His story reminds us that even the most cunning criminals can't outrun justice forever. If you enjoyed unraveling this criminal mystery with us, make sure you're part of our secret Sleuths community. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our next deep dive into the world of true crime and unsolved mysteries.